Hey everyone, and welcome back. In today's video, we'll explore persistent data storage using app storage in SwiftUI. With app storage, we can actually save data like usernames and scores that are going to persist across app launches. So perfect when you want to save some data that will be persistent. You can even update this data as you need through things like variables. So every time that the user logs in, they'll have their settings be saved. Let's go ahead and dive on in. So I'm going to create a new Swift project, but you can always feel free to add this to any existing one. And I'm just going to call this one maybe app storage example here. Make sure our interface is on SwiftUI and our language on Swift, and we'll be good to get started. So what is app storage? App storage is essentially a property wrapper in SwiftUI that allows us to save simple data types like strings, integers, and booleans to something called user defaults, which is something you might have explored before. They're kind of one and the same. So let's go ahead and set up our main kind of content view. We're going to add a username and a score, but feel free to explore this with, having like Boolean values. So maybe like when a user, enables a switch to have like sound on or something like that, it'll keep that sound on or off every time that they open up the app. So in our structure here of content view, I'm just gonna make a little bit of space, and we're gonna go ahead and create our two app storages examples, so username and score. So to declare app storage, we'll do @app storage with a capital A and S. Then we're going to give it a key, so kind of like think of this like as like a save file name. We'll call this one username. And this way, when we're referencing this save name, we can grab that data. Say private var username. We'll have this be string. And we can just set its default value here to just be an empty string. So I'm just going to do the quotation followed by quotation. And let's make another app storage here. And this one we'll call score. This will also be a private variable. And this time we'll just call it score. And it's going to be a integer value. And maybe we'll put its default value to be 0. So the first time, before the user kind of interacts with any of these elements, we can kind of like, when we're initializing a variable or something, provide it with that baseline or default value. All right, now let's hop on over into our view here. And within our view, I'm going to add a navigation view before our VStack here. So navigation view. And then just after our VStack here, I am going to add a brace in order to close off that navigation view. So anytime you add a brace, make sure you're also closing said brace. All right, in our VStack here, I'm just going to get rid of our default hello world globe here, and I'm going to add my own text, and I'm going to say welcome, and then I'm going to actually interpolate the person's username. So I'm going to do / username. Now we can also say .is empty, and then we'll just provide it with that optional of guest. And then we'll add a colon here, and we'll say username. So this is also going to protect us in case it is empty, and make sure that no matter what happens, the text will have some content. Oh, I have a extra quotation mark there, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot to wrap my guest in a string there, I'm sorry there. So we should have a message here that'll say, welcome, whatever the person's username is. If it's empty, then it's just going to simply say guest, but we'll provide it with a username later on. You can even see in our example here that says welcome guest. Let's go ahead and even add a space there so it's not as cluttered. We'll then add some font here. So I'll say font.large title. We can also add some padding as well. If you want to add any other input or style changes to your text here, feel free to do so. I'm going to add some more text, and I'm going to add a score. And let's go ahead and also interpolate that score value, and we'll just reference it as score. Currently, they have a score of 0. They'll do better, I promise. Let's also add the font here. We can make it big. We can say maybe .title. And then we can also add some padding here as well, just to give it a little bit more space. Cool, let's go ahead and make a navigation link here. We're going to have our destination. Let's go ahead and set that to be edit profile view. We don't have this created yet, but we'll create it in just a moment here. And this is where we're going to have some text here, and we'll say edit profile. Sometimes I work so much with camel casing that I forget to actually add space bars. It's kind of cute. Then we'll add the font, and we'll have it be .headline. Some padding, right? Set the background color to this button to maybe be blue. So do color dot. Actually, no, purple. I'm a member of Purple Gang. We can change the foreground style to change the text. Color dot white, maybe. Purple and white's a pretty cool combo. And then we'll also add a corner radius, and we'll set that to be 25. So currently nothing is going to kind of appear here until we do add that edit profile view, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Outside of this navigation link, we're going to add a button. So outside of that brace, I'm going to create a button. We'll add an action here. And for that action, we're going to add a opening brace, and we're going to go ahead and say score plus equals 1. You can also create a button that's also going to reduce the score if you really like, and maybe we'll play around with that near the end. We're going to go to our end of our button bracket here. We're going to add another brace, and this is where we're going to add the kind of style of the button. So we'll say text, and then we'll say increase score. And we can add any other kind of thing we'd like. I'm actually just going to copy our properties from our navigation link button here, and we'll just change it to be a different color. Maybe we'll do orange instead, or maybe green, because green's like go, increase the score, you know what I mean? Alrighty, and we should be pretty set on our content view here. Again, just to get rid of this error and to also add the edit profile view, let's go ahead and create a new file from template, and we'll create a SwiftUI view. We'll call it edit profile view. Now when we return to our content view here, we should be able to see our edit profile and our increase score. Cool stuff there. If you want to test around with the increase score and press it, you can. I'm going to wait until we're all finished though, and I'm going to go to our edit profile view to make some changes. So here is where we're going to be able to reference our app storage of username. So what I'm going to do is say @app storage. If you want to copy the previous username to make sure you have no mistakes, feel free to do that as well. So I'm going to do @app storage, username, so that's the key it's saved under, private var username string, and I believe we had this set to just be an empty string. All right, cool. In this view down here, I'm going to create a vstack, and let's go ahead and add some text here, and we'll say edit username. Set this to be a font, maybe large title, and maybe font weight .bold. Let's then add a text field, so we can say text field, so capital T and F. We can add a kind of placeholder text within the string here, and we'll say enter your username. Then outside of the string, we're going to add a comma, and we're going to say text, colon, space, and then we're going to reference our binding username. So we're going to use that $sign there. Our text field seems to be like kind of clipping off the side here, so let's definitely add some padding. We'll leave the padding at blank, but maybe we can even do .horizontal as well. All right, and then let's also add some text to let the user know that username will be saved across launches. We can just change the font here to maybe be subheadline. I think you can also make font italicized. I think it's .italic. It's kind of hard to see, but it definitely does it. There's also .underline as well. And you can actually change the underline color. But we'll just put that there to kind of play with those two things there. And we can even change the foreground style to be color, capital C, sorry, color.blue. All right, let's also add a navigation title. So under our VStack brace here, we'll add a dot navigation title. I'm going to say edit profile. I think that's what we had called the button, but we should be good to go here. And what we should be able to do is actually edit our username. And then when we relaunch the program, it will save. You can even add a button to kind of save and update that username, but we should be good to go. Let's go back to our content view here. We can see if we go and press the increase score, increase 1, 2, 3, go to our profile here. Maybe my name is Bob the Builder, right? We go back, it'll say, welcome Bob the Builder. And if we actually restart our kind of view here, typically to do that, I'll just like change a line of code and then change it right back. It'll kind of refresh, and you'll see that our code remains the exact same. We can even go ahead and duplicate our button here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this. Instead of increase score, I'm going to say decrease score. Maybe we'll change it to be red. And instead of plus equals, we're going to do minus equals 1. All right, so if we decrease our score or increase, whenever we reload the app, it will save. So let's go ahead and test our app in the simulator now. Alrighty, so something you will notice is when you do testing in the preview, your data is kind of be a little bit different from when you use the simulator. As well, I'll show you it's actually different between the devices, because essentially what's happening is the simulator is treating it like a real phone, so like my iPhone, right? And when we make those saves, it's essentially just saving on that device specifically, so like locally. If we use a different device, you'll notice that our settings will reset. So it's kind of like a different device between our preview and our simulator here. So that's why we don't see our Bob the Builder. But let's go ahead and increase our score here to like 5. You also see that it goes down. We'll do 8, I guess. Then we can edit our profile here. So my username is going to be I'll just do Noah Does Coding. Let's go ahead and say back, welcome Noah Does Coding. My score is the same. If we stop our app from running, so you can either press this square here or double click on the home and kind of swipe it away. I'll get rid of these other examples. You can relaunch it here. We'll see, that it, has our score and our name. Even if we decrease it, right? We run our app again. Say welcome Noah Does Coding, score of 5. So you're able to kind of create these app storages that are going to be persistent throughout launches and kind of hold any data that you need it to. Again, this could also be for Boolean values as well. So if you want, dark mode enabled, if you want sound enabled, right? Different things that the user can augment and save. You can use that with app storage to not only access it across launches, but also access it across multiple views. So what happens if we do change our device here? So I'm currently running on the iPhone 16 Pro. If I were to put this on the SE 3rd generation, for all intents and purposes, this would be like I'm using somebody else's device. So it's like maybe the iPhone 16 is your phone and the iPhone SE is my phone. So when it does load up, it'll have its own set of that app storage. So we can see that it does save per those devices. I just want to make you aware of that just in case if you're testing on other devices and you're like, where's my app storage? That is why. But as you can see, they persist across the different launches. You could even have a reset button if you'd like and kind of reset those values. Totally up to you. But that's it. So today we created the simple SwiftUI app using app storage to save and load data persistently. We built a profile with an editable username and score, which stay saved. Thanks for following along. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please like and subscribe for more SwiftUI content. And until next time, dream big and code bigger. Take care.